Hey everyone, I hope you're having a fantastic week, and I want to talk to you about something that was triggered by an event that we're actually doing this weekend at our church. It's called the 40 Hours of Prayer, and in that time, we're actually asking and have asked people to sign up to take 1 hour blocks where for 40 straight hours we are praying in our church for each other, for our church, for our community, and so on. And so for some people, this is no big deal, but for others, this is quite a change to actually come somewhere and commit to pray for 60 solid minutes. And it got me thinking about this whole idea of prayer, because prayer is not a unique idea to Christianity. Most religions involve a prayer of some type. Prayer has been around for thousands of years, but it is unique within the context of what we believe. The experience of doing it may not be unique, but how we do it is. And yet, over the years, it's probably one of those areas that I've seen the most people struggle with. Even people who have been a Christ follower or a follower of Jesus for many years can struggle in this area of prayer. And you'll hear lots of people say that, if Satan can defeat you here, he'll defeat you anywhere. Or things that, honestly, they tend to make us feel more guilty about it than anything. So I wanted to just talk very briefly about 4 problems that I've run into over the years, both for myself, for the people I've talked to, and there's lots more, that seem to prevent us from having the kind of prayer life that most of us wish that we had. The first one is this. We view prayer as a religious exercise. This is true in most religions, where prayer is one of those things you do. It's a requirement. You're supposed to do it. It's what God wants you to do. And so we see it as an exercise that has to be completed. It's kind of like exercising or eating your vegetables. You know it's good for you. You know you should do it more, but there's no real satisfaction to it. And so you kind of do it as a duty instead of as something that you really desire to do. There's really 2 ways past this. One is to recognize that's not what it is. Prayer at its heart is a relationship. It's engaging with God. It's having conversations with Him. And that the only way that gets better is just repetition, doing it over and over and over again. That's number 1. Number 2, lack of immediate results is a big problem when it comes to prayer. A lot of people that I know, they pray and then nothing happens, or worse, the opposite seems to happen. And they begin to feel like there's no point to this. Like, why am I doing this? If I'm praying and nothing is changing and nothing occurs, and actually a lot of people end up very disappointed in this type, they begin to just let it down and forget, or decide that it just isn't worth it, and prayers become shallow and superficial, and they sound the same all the time when in fact you even remember to do it. The problem with this is, again, that it gets you doubting the person, and it gets the focus. It makes the whole idea of prayer a transaction. I pray, God gives me something, and when that doesn't happen, we're not right. And yet that's never what the purpose of prayer is. The only way to get past this is to continue to think of it as a relationship. Number 3, and quite frankly, I think this might be the number 1 in our culture, a problem with becoming the people of prayer, and it's simply this: being too busy. We go through life from thing to thing. We get up early, we stay up late. There's kids and jobs and work and church and all kinds of things, and it seems like we're always doing something. And so to motivate ourselves to spend time doing something that sometimes we question whether it works or has any value becomes very difficult. And quite frankly, the only way to deal with this is to settle the issue of priorities and relationship in your own heart. We find time to do the things that matter. And it doesn't mean that busy lives don't get in the way sometimes, but what's important we will find time to do. The 4th one, and the one that I've run into a few times, is we just don't know how. I've talked to many people, and I can even remember this from my early years, of not really knowing, well, how do I? I pray, but it feels like it's the same every single day, and after about 3 sentences, I feel like I'm saying the same words, doing the same thing in the same place. There's no real life to it. It's like saying, just repeating something over and over. It's like saying the Lord's Prayer every day, but not doing anything more than that. Well, this one, quite frankly, is very daunting for some, but yet the easiest to fix, because there are so many resources, so many things that other people have tried that we can use ourselves. Do something different. Go somewhere else. Change your environment. Go outside. Change your stance. Change how you do it. Change what you do. There's just so many resources, and the only thing to do here is to try new stuff. Try new things. Get more comfortable with it. One of the reasons we're doing this 40 hours of prayer this weekend is to encourage people to stretch themselves and to try something a little bit different. So, If you're like me and at times you have trouble with your prayer life, just remember, it's not a religious exercise. It's a chance to engage with your Creator and the one who loves you deeply. You're not just trying to get something from him, you're trying to know him more deeply. And whether the answers come quickly or not, he loves you and wants you to engage with you. So make time, make it a priority, put it in your schedule, and try something new. Hey, I hope it works for you. Regardless of what happens, stay at it. Till next time, see you then.